Do you react to that?
Is that his reaction to Donald Trump?
Yes.
That's insane. I don't know what he's trying to imply. And by the way, I think he missed a trick a few years ago when he didn't want Trump to come to London. He could have invited him, showed him, you know, what a fabulous city this is, all of us, you know, 300 different languages being spoken.
300 different languages are spoken in London, but this brave Republican chose to speak facts. Ever since Trump secured his second term, the UK's mainstream media has been just as loud as the American media, whining about his win. And you won't believe how this Republican completely schooled the BBC for the bias.
From Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, and there's certainly been some toing and froing in terms of exchanges between Donald Trump and Sadiq Khan in the past. An important reminder, he tweets today, for Londoners: our city is and will always be for everyone. We will always be pro-women, pro-diversity, pro-climate and pro-human rights. These are some of the values that will continue to bind us together as Londoners. How do you react to that?
Is that his reaction to Donald Trump?
Yes.
That's insane. I don't know what he's trying to imply.
Sadiq Khan is known for throwing shade at Trump. But when Trump secured his second term, Sadiq took his rant to social media, and Jennifer Ewing was not about to let that slide.
We hear Biden speak this afternoon. What I would love to hear him say is,
goodbye.
Kamala Harris underperformed Biden in every single county in the United States of America. So she was not a better candidate. They actually would have been better off with him.
With him, exactly right. And I think I'm right in saying that she's one of the worst ever Democratic nominees in terms of what she achieved in terms of polling as well. Is there any chance, do you think, because we had a question on this earlier, that Joe Biden gets up this afternoon and says, actually, because of now what's happened, I'm going to step aside?
Sadiq Khan's fiery tweet lit a fuse, sparking an argument that took off like wildfire. But Jennifer didn't leave a single crumb, clapping back hard, even while surrounded by pro-Democrats.
You just have there with his comments, so
Well, I was shocked by it. It seemed quite divisive, and I mean, that's a very strange reaction.
I think if we're going to talk about divisive comments, we can just have a look at Donald Trump's tweet history.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, look, free speech.
The media never stops chanting about Trump's controversial comments, but when it comes to them, calling an elected president a convict, criminal or racist somehow doesn't count as an insult.
Just your reaction, Sarah, to the result?
I think, like a lot of people, a lot of us would have wanted something different this morning, but we are where we are, and I think the Democrats have a question to ask now themselves, to look internally and ask why it is someone as eminently qualified as Kamala Harris lost to somebody, as Gary had said, who has a convicted criminal, has mocked disabled people, has worsened women's rights, and has accused immigrants of eating dogs.
The Starmer-led Labour government has been in shambles after Trump's victory, especially since they openly backed Kamala's campaign. The disappointment was written all over Sarah Owen, the Labour Member of Parliament's body language.
In 2020, the U.S. election, along with COVID-19, were two of the most censored events in recent public history. So we know that from the Hunter Biden laptop, from the Russia. I mean, that's out there.
Well, let's get some other reaction, because you're sitting there looking hugely sceptical.
I am
you
very
look like you're about to jump a gun.
Jennifer doesn't hold back, holding up a mirror to the woke Labour members of Parliament. The showdown quickly turns into a tough outing for Sarah Owen, who keeps ducking behind the Democrats' curtain for cover.
Say. He talks about healing the nation, and then in the next breath talks about the enemy within and attacking the enemy within. And when he's talking about the enemy within, he was talking about people like you, Joe. He was talking about CNN. He was talking about mainstream media, which is there to hold governments to account and to spread light onto issues that he is talking about.
The Member of Parliament seems more worried about America's future than Americans themselves. She's not just struggling to accept the reality, and Jennifer, meanwhile, can't help but smirk in pure amusement.
Are we seeing this election almost split down male and female lines?
I don't think so, and actually, I would add on to what he said is it's not just the male vote that Joe Rogan is appealing to. And by the way, not only did Trump go on, so did J.D. Vance, and Elon Musk did last night, and that's when Rogan came out finally and endorsed President Trump. But it's what's called the low propensity voter. The low propensity voter is a man or woman who just can't be bothered to get off the sofa. They kind of don't like either candidate.
Even during the campaigns, Jennifer took it upon herself to clear the smoke around Trump's campaign, which had been clouded by biased media.
I kind of find it a little insulting that people assume that women's only issue is abortion. We know for the first time the GOP platform has said that they do not have a national ban on abortion. So the messaging on the Republican side has not been great on that. But no, there's other issues for women too, you know, fairness in women's sports, not allowing men to play in women's sports, safe spaces for women in bathrooms, and of course, women buy groceries and other things, so it's the economy.
Jennifer didn't hold back when it came to Kamala's controversial comments on abortion. She made sure her voice was heard, cutting through the one-sided media campaign.
A primary for their Democrat voters, like we did on the Republican side, they coronated Kamala and thought that the political information complex, the media, could run cover for her, which they mostly did, actually.
They did.
They did, and but that speech she just gave, it sounded exactly like her stump speeches, the very few that she did give during her campaign. So what won for Trump really gets back to something very simple, where he won on the issues.
Yes, he did. Because you say that she was given cover by the media, and that cover ran all the way up to election day.
Even after the elections, Jennifer didn't hold back, pointing out how the media outlets continued to give Kamala cover, shielding her from scrutiny and bias.
Pretty clear Trump had won decisively.
Yes.
Now, even in 2016, Hillary Clinton did make the phone call to Donald Trump that night, conceding.
Right.
So I think if there was a misstep for Kamala Harris, she probably should have made the phone call that night, conceded, and fine, wait a day to give your speech, get your thoughts together. She'd probably been brainwashed into thinking she was going to win as well.
Jennifer didn't hold back as she grilled Kamala, pointing out how she lacked the grace Hillary Clinton showed in accepting defeat. She schooled Kamala for letting the media brainwash her, staying isolated and relying on hate-filled campaigns to push her agenda.
You're full of those who would like to see him prosecuted in now 4 different states. It's mad.
Well, I don't think he's making a fool of America, but I do think he's making a fool of the criminal justice system, which has been completely weaponized against him.
Yeah.
There's no way anybody can look at the 4 indictments that have come. And by the way, I don't believe they're against the former president.
Right.
They're against Joe Biden's political opponent.
Yeah.
That's when it all started heating up, was after former President Trump, announced he would be running last November.
Yeah. A year ago, when Trump was being humiliated and the media painted him as a criminal, Jennifer called out how the judicial system was being weaponized, exposing the media's biased attack on him. Ever since Trump started his campaign, Jennifer has been the lone sensible voice advocating for his policies, portraying him as the only true leader for America. And she hasn't wavered. She's still here, even taking on 3 pro-Democrats head-on. Pro-Trump voices have been kept low in the British media, but with his return to office on the horizon, will we see a change in how the media covers him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.